Have you ever noticed that the modern dating advice we hear today just feels incredibly draining? You are told to play hard to get, to act like you are always busy, to use silence as a weapon. But when you are a mature woman, a woman who has already lived through so much, playing these games does not make you feel powerful. It makes you feel cheap. It leaves you sitting in the dark, wondering if you have to pretend to be someone else just to hold a man's attention. You might have felt that silent pain of feeling used, giving so much of your heart, only to be left questioning if he even values you, or if this is just another transactional relationship. You deserve better. One of the biggest mistakes we make as we get older is trying to copy the frantic energy of our 20s. We are told we need to be a mystery, to be unpredictable, to always keep him guessing so he does not lose interest. But we forget who we are dealing with. A mature man, a man who has faced his own failures and weathered his own storms, is no longer looking for a roller coaster ride. He is tired of the chase. When you try to recreate that youthful chaos to force physical attraction, you are actually pushing him further away. The truth is, no matter how much society focuses on looks, men over 50 are not searching for a temporary spark, because sparks, no matter how bright, eventually burn out. What they are desperately craving, what they secretly long for in the empty moments of the night, is a steady hearth, a sanctuary. They are looking for deep emotional intimacy, a true connection where they can finally put their armor down. They want to build something lasting, an emotional legacy. Let's explore what it truly means to step into this power and the undeniable signs that you have become his ultimate safe haven.
Think about this. What happens when a woman finally decides to drop the act and simply exist in her own power? Let me share the story of Margaret. She is 62 years old, and like many of us in the baby boomer generation, she found herself navigating an empty nest and the painful aftermath of a divorce at 50. Stepping back into the dating world felt terrifying. She was haunted by the fear of aging, worried that she was losing her value in a society obsessed with youth. When she met Robert, a charming 65-year-old man, her deep-seated insecurities took over. She tried to protect her heart by playing the modern dating game. She acted aloof, trying to be this cold, mysterious woman. She would purposely wait hours to reply to his messages, hoping to trigger his subconscious behaviors and make him chase her. But beneath that mask of nonchalance, she was completely exhausted. Every interaction felt like a strategic move on a chessboard. The truth is, no matter how much a man tries to hide it, he can feel when a woman is anxious and controlling. Robert started to pull away. That was Margaret's breaking point. She realized that trying to manipulate his feelings was destroying any chance of genuine emotional intimacy. She made a massive shift. She took off the heavy mask, stopped chasing. She stopped agonizing over Robert's actions and turned her focus entirely back to her own joy. Margaret returned to her beloved rose garden. She spent her weekends cultivating her flowers, getting her hands dirty, pouring her energy into a passion that belonged only to her. This garden was not just a hobby, it was a symbol of her personal legacy, a physical manifestation of her reclaiming her self-worth. By choosing herself, she stopped suffocating the relationship. Then, the ultimate test arrived. Robert faced a sudden, severe crisis with his business, threatening his life savings. A younger, more anxious Margaret would have panicked. She would have smothered him with desperate questions, trying to fix his problems just to feel needed. But this Margaret, deeply rooted in her own peace, remained completely centered. She did not panic. She simply held space for him. She became a steady anchor in the middle of his chaotic storm. When he came over, her home was a sanctuary of peace, not another battlefield. When the crisis finally settled, Robert looked at her across the dinner table, his eyes filled with a kind of reverence you rarely see. He held her hand and said, "Physical beauty might draw people close, but your quiet wisdom is what completely binds my soul." Margaret did not secure his loyalty with mind games. She secured it by becoming his ultimate safe haven. Let's break down the psychological pillars behind this kind of magnetic pull, starting with the incredible power of the Firekeeper. Most people misunderstand what truly commands a man's lifelong devotion. We assume a man only responds to youthful energy, but the reality is, a mature man's subconscious behaviors are drawn to a completely different kind of warmth. It is the steady confidence of a woman who knows her own self-worth. Let's explore what it means to hold this flame.
The wisdom of the Firekeeper. I understand because I've heard this question countless times from women. What does a mature man actually face when he steps out into the world every single day? He is constantly fighting battles, whether it is the intense pressure of his career, the stress of financial changes as he approaches retirement, or simply the silent weight of his own ego. His armor is incredibly heavy, so when he finally walks through the door or sits across from you at dinner, the absolute last thing he wants is to walk into another battlefield. Many women believe that they need to create a little drama to keep a man interested, to keep the spark alive. But for a man who has lived through decades of marriage, or perhaps a painful divorce, drama is just exhausting. When a man is stressed or pulls away, a woman lacking self-worth will quickly panic. She will interrogate him, demanding to know what is wrong, trying to fix his problems just to feel secure in the relationship. But the wisdom of the Firekeeper is entirely different. It is the quiet power of stillness. Let's look at Linda, a 57-year-old empty nester who had just started dating David, a 62-year-old man.
One evening, David came over after receiving some terrible news about his retirement investments. He was agitated, distant, and subconsciously waiting for Linda to either get offended by his silence or overwhelm him with unwanted advice. Instead, Linda tapped into her queen's mindset. She did not take his mood personally. She maintained a graceful nonchalance, simply handing him a warm cup of tea, sitting next to him on the porch, and offering her presence without a single ounce of judgment. She became a calm, deep lake, standing firm in the face of his emotional storm. This simple act completely disarmed his subconscious behaviors. He realized he did not have to pretend to be invincible around her. He could just breathe. That is the true essence of emotional intimacy. When you offer a man this level of incredible tolerance and non-judgmental listening, you stop being just another woman he is seeing. You become his safe haven. But being a calm lake does not mean you lose your own identity or become a sponge for his negative emotions. The only way you can hold this kind of powerful space for a man is if you have already built a deeply fulfilling world of your own, which brings us to the second undeniable secret of this attraction.
Autonomy and personal legacy. For women over 55, relationships and dating might feel different because our definition of independence shifts. We often assume that to protect ourselves, we have to build thick walls around our hearts, pushing people away so we never get hurt again. But extreme independence is often just a shield. It subconsciously pushes a good man away, making him feel like there is absolutely no room for him in your life. True autonomy, the kind that creates deep emotional intimacy, is something entirely different. It is not about isolation. It is about having a brilliantly rich inner kingdom. Think about Susan, a 58-year-old woman who had spent decades managing a busy household. When she became an empty nester and started dating Michael, she made a conscious choice not to make him the center of her universe. She did not wait by the phone for him to plan her weekends. Instead, she poured her heart into her watercolor painting and her weekly dinners with her closest friends. She focused on her own joy, building her own personal legacy. Let's look at this through the lens of male psychology. When a man senses that you do not need him to be your sole source of happiness, an incredible shift happens. You release him from the suffocating pressure of having to constantly entertain you. You stop treating his attention like it is the only oxygen in the room. And because you are not frantically grasping at him, his natural instincts are reawakened. He looks at your fulfilling life, and his subconscious behaviors begin to change. He does not feel intimidated. He feels a deep sense of respect.
He realizes that your time is incredibly valuable and that being invited into your world is a rare privilege. He starts to crave your presence because your graceful nonchalance signals absolute self-worth. He wants to step into your peaceful world, not to save a damsel in distress, but to stand beside a queen who already rules her own life. You are the prize. This is how you stop chasing and start creating a magnetic pull that he simply cannot ignore. Having your own beautiful world is only part of the equation. To truly bind his heart, you must also know how to share the depths of your mind. Which leads us to the third and perhaps most beautiful pillar of all.
The richness of soul. Have you ever wondered if being mysterious is just a young woman's game? Some women assume that to remain attractive as they age, they need to play games. They think they have to ignore text messages or pretend to be constantly busy just to keep a man guessing. But here is the psychological reality. For a mature man, that kind of superficial mystery is just frustrating. True mystery at 50 or 60 is not about hiding your whereabouts. It is about the beautiful depth of your soul. It is the gentle richness of a woman who has lived, who has loved, and who carries the scars of her past with absolute grace. A mature man's subconscious behaviors are deeply triggered by intellectual and emotional depth. Let me share a beautiful moment from Rachel, a 59-year-old widow who had just started seeing Thomas, a 64-year-old retired architect. When they first met, Rachel did not try to dazzle him with flashy stories or superficial charm. She simply invited him into the richness of her mind. One evening, they were sitting quietly on her patio with a glass of red wine. Instead of asking him generic questions about his day, she shared a deep philosophy she had learned from a book she was reading about resilience. She spoke openly about her past grief, not as a victim, but as a woman who had transformed her pain into wisdom. Thomas sat there completely captivated. He later confessed that in that exact moment, he felt an overwhelming urge to pull her close. He was not just looking at a beautiful woman, he was staring into a fascinating universe. As we get older, the most intense form of connection actually begins in the mind. When you sit next to a man sharing your genuine philosophies on life, you are doing something incredibly powerful. You are touching his intellect. This completely bypasses his logical defenses and triggers a deep emotional intimacy. A man can find superficial attraction anywhere, but finding a woman who challenges his thoughts and simultaneously soothes his spirit is incredibly rare. This is what making love from the heart truly feels like outside the bedroom. It is not about trauma dumping or complaining about your past relationships. It is about sharing the refined wisdom, the healed wounds that only decades of life can teach you. When you hold this kind of magnetic depth, his instinct is no longer just to date you or pass the time. His instinct is to deeply understand you, because when you capture a mature man's mind, you hold his soul forever. You might be wondering how to put all of this into practice without feeling overwhelmed. How do you know if you are truly holding this queen's mindset, or if you are slipping back into old habits? There is a very subtle but powerful way to observe this shift in action.
Imagine you are at home this upcoming weekend, and you find yourself falling into that familiar pattern of waiting. You might be tempted to ask him what he is thinking, or secretly hope he will plan something special for the two of you. But I want to challenge you to do something completely different. Instead of nervously seeking his attention, intentionally create your own sacred space. Let me share a quick example from Martha, a 61-year-old woman who found herself constantly overthinking her new relationship with James. Martha used to fill every empty moment with anxious chatter, trying to steer the connection. But one Saturday evening, she decided to simply sit in her favorite armchair. She poured a warm cup of tea, opened a thought-provoking book on Stoic philosophy, and allowed the silence to do the heavy lifting. She embraced a state of complete nonchalance. When James finally walked into the room, she did not immediately look up or drop everything to cater to him. She was perfectly content in her own rich world. I want you to carefully observe what happens when you apply this exact level of self-worth. Watch his body language begin to change. Notice how his eyes react when he realizes you are not desperately waiting for him to entertain you. He will notice. When you stop chasing, you stop pushing his energy away. His subconscious behaviors will instinctively pull him toward your steady confidence.
He will naturally lean in, wanting to be a part of the beautiful aura you have created. Because true emotional intimacy is never forced, it is quietly invited. And when you finally see this transformation happening right in front of your eyes, you will understand the ultimate truth about lasting love.
As we get older, we become wiser, and we realize that a truly lasting relationship is never just a stroke of luck. It is not a fairy tale. It is the beautiful result of a lifetime project, the project of cultivating your own soul. You do not build a permanent sanctuary using fleeting physical attraction or manipulative games. You build it through the quiet, unshakable power of your internal growth. When you fully embrace this queen's mindset, everything shifts. You finally understand that you do not have to constantly prove your worth to anyone, because the ultimate reality is you are the prize. You deserve a love that makes you feel cherished, respected, and completely safe. Stop chasing, start choosing. Choose to be your own safe haven first, and the right man will naturally cross oceans to stand beside you. I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced this powerful shift where pulling back and focusing on yourself completely changed the dynamic of a relationship? Or what was the exact moment you realized you were settling for less than you truly deserve? Please share your story in the comments below. Your experience might be the exact light another woman needs to find her own strength today. If you found this video helpful, do not forget to like and subscribe for more insights on relationships and human behavior. Thank you for watching, and remember, your peace is your ultimate power. I will see you in the next video.